Trey runs with the gold kid.
I've already got
Yesterday, this time I was fishing at Carolina Beach. Still there. They're. Came back today. Why? Who's asking? Here he is, right here.
Is there anybody that wants to speak during public comments? If you do, please come up and sign in with me.
I'm just gonna read.
Yes, sir, please. Thank you. You can get on the agenda.
I'll call our meeting to order. Oh. Stand for the pledge. Attention. Salute. Okay. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item of business is the adoption of the agenda. Any item you'd like to change or anything about the agenda? Not, I'll entertain a motion that the agenda be adopted as printed.
So moved.
Motion second.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All of those in favor of the adoption of the agenda, let me know by saying aye. Opposed, nay, motion carries. Next on our agenda is community reports. Warren Springs Little League.
The Boiling Springs Little League, so I got an email here. Daniel and Tripp, so Tripp is out of town. Daniel was coming, but he had a work conflict. And so I will have you all, I'm gonna just, he sent an update, but it's through Google and I can't access the document, so I will forward y'all the update. But Tripp says, he's attached the update, he's out of town, they're sorry they couldn't be here. And it says he's attached to the email, maybe he sent me a text, I'm sorry. Carter, I'll read what it says. He typed a nice summary, that we can read out loud to y'all, and I'll send it to you when I get access to it. But he says, they're very excited. He's gonna come by next week to continue to chat with us about the ongoing progress that the Little League is making, and things are going really well, which I think we all know, as we've seen out there, the parking lot's been full, so.
That's right, very true. Well pleased with what's going on in the Little League. Next, we have Ms. Amber Lowry, Assistant Director of Life Enrichment Center.
I will say while Amber's coming up here, most importantly, Amber's a member of the Boiling Springs Area Road. So, put that down first. If y'all, I have gotten some feedback from our YouTube channel. If y'all remember to speak into your microphone, some folks are having a hard time, hearing our audio on our YouTube. You're ready now, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Hello, I'm Amber Lowry, Assistant Director at Life Enrichment Center. We have been in Cleveland County for 45 years. July 1st will be 46 years. We are in 2 locations, Shelby and Kings Mountain. We currently have enrolled about 200 participants, and we are looking to grow that census, of course. We are the best kept secret out here in Cleveland County. I would dare say that probably the majority of folks in this room does not know what Life Enrichment Center is. I have a very small window of time, so I can't tell you everything about it, but we are an adult daycare center, so any adult 18 and older could be our participant. Essentially, a participant is someone who cannot be left at home by themselves, but they are not in a position, or their family is not in a position to where they need placement. Maybe the family can't afford placement, or maybe institutionalization would be another option, and they don't want that. So certainly more folks need to know about us, more folks need our services. So we are working really, really hard at gaining exposure. So we're out and about in the community speaking to folks like you, Rotary clubs, essentially anybody who will give me the time of day. I'm giving them my time. We're asking folks to come in and take a tour of the center, especially if you haven't seen it, and just try to shed some light on what we do, who we serve, and how it benefits caregivers. Caregivers are our customers. If you look at it like that, we are there to serve the caregivers, and the way that we do that is providing the direct care to their loved one. A typical participant for us really can be anybody, but oftentimes in our younger adults, we see folks with intellectual or developmental disabilities. And our older adults, we see folks who have some sort of dementia. So it's a vast population that we serve, but it is a very rewarding thing that we do. I invite you all to look us up on Facebook, like us, follow us, share us, come do a tour. You can contact me, and I do give a great tour, I must say. So I invite you all to come and see me at either center and learn a little bit more about what we're doing.
Where are you located?
The Shelby Center is just right off of Highway 18, if you know where Cornerstone Dental is. The drive there right beside of it is actually called Life Enrichment Boulevard. At one point, we owned all of that land, and so we're at the very back of that road. The other center is in Kings Mountain on Kings Mountain Boulevard. It's on the same road as Kings Mountain Intermediate School, their hospice, and but we're at the top part of Kings Mountain Boulevard.
Do you know how many people in our area that you serve?
We currently have enrolled about 200 people.
What about locally?
Locally, probably 90%, 85% of our participants at the Shelby Center are Cleveland County. I know for a fact that about 60% of our Kings Mountain participants are Cleveland County. We do serve a huge amount from Gaston County at the Kings Mountain Center, just, we're very conveniently located. But we also are serving folks from Rutherford County, Cherokee County, Burke County, and Lincoln County. So, not a lot of folks from those counties, but we are in those areas as well.
Can I assume that those other counties doesn't have this capability, doesn't have this option available?
Either that, or they don't have what we do. A lot of adult daycare centers do not provide the type of care that we do. So we do full care. We have nurses on staff who teach our direct care staff anything that they need to know about providing personal care or assistance with, if someone needs assistance with walking or eating, anything like that. A lot of adult daycare centers, you have to be, or the participant has to be fully independent to be able to attend there. Another difference is a lot of places do not put both populations of people together. So it's strictly for individuals with intellectual or developmental disabilities, or it's strictly for the elderly and aging population, and we put them together in one location.
So the funding is 501c3 corporation, state, federal funds, how do you operate?
We have, essentially, we have 9 payer sources. I will not bore you with all of that, but our biggest funding stream is through Medicaid. It is not like healthcare Medicaid. It is different waiver programs through Medicaid. So we serve the Innovations Waiver population and the CAP-DA population, which is our aging and disabled adults. We do have a contract with the veterans. We have quite a few veterans. We have a contract through DSS that allows us to serve people who really don't qualify for the Medicaid program, but who can't afford private pay. We do have a private pay option that is well below the national average, I will say that. And then we have some other small revenue streams.
The reason I was asking is, I would like to see a Bowling Springs branch of the Life Enrichment Center. We have coverage in the east, we have coverage in Shelby, and naturally, as we have an aging population here, I would like to see that provided. Not just aging population, we have dependent people, disabled, that would benefit from the services. What would it take to have a satellite branch or
Money.
That is a great answer.
is it just a facility? or-
It's really just, I know that they have looked well before my time, before they expanded into Kings Mountain, at the area that needed the service more so, the amount of traffic that it would get from outside, and that's essentially why Kings Mountain was where we built, because it was so conveniently located to Gaston County, and Gaston County was in dire need of a service like ours. I would say in order to branch out even more, I would think that it would take meeting capacity at both of the centers currently, because right now we serve quite a few from Bowling Springs specifically.
You mentioned Rutherford County also as well.
Yes, and Rutherford County. We serve quite a few from Rutherford County. And so until we were at capacity at the Shelby Center, which is where those individuals go, I would think that we would not be looking to expand until there was more of a need.
I just know we have a lot of veterans, we have a lot of people that could benefit from the services here.
Yeah.
And,
Now that the bypass is
the
here,
transportation to Shelby or to Kings Mountain might be more difficult as well.
Right.
So that's always a challenge for that population.
yes, now that the bypass is here, because I live in Bowling Springs too, it takes me 18 minutes exactly to get to work, which is great. We do contract with transportation companies. I will tell you that the veterans benefit package that they have covers their transportation. So TAC I'm sure some of you are familiar with TAC. And then there's a company out of Gaston County, Carolina Specialty Transport, CST for short. They also, between the two of them, they do the bulk of our transportation. Folks who come to us through either of the Medicaid waivers, one of those programs covers their transportation and it's covered through TAC. So there are options. If they couldn't get there themselves, we do have some options.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
I'd like to say, you know, my wife's mother went there,
Yes, she did.
and,
She was a very sweet lady.
very good experience there, so
Yes.
she's well pleased, and she enjoyed going, so look forward to going, so I think that speaks well for the care she got there.
Yes. One of the last memories I have of Miss Goforth, we were making Christmas ornaments. So she had hers on the tree, and I think that we were able to give that to your wife.
I think so.
Yes.
I think it's on my tree
Yeah.
last time. All right, any other questions, comments? Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate what
Thank
did.
you.
Thank you.
Next item is the consent agenda. Got 8 items on the consent agenda. No, skip public comments, sorry. Public comments?
Yes, sir, we do.
All right.
Mr. Daves?
I apologize, I thought I was on the agenda, but, each one of you received a insurance proposal for us. When you go over the insurance, I'll be here for questions. Just when you go over the insurance, just make sure you have the coverages we have in place now. There's a situation going on in Shelby right now. It's not gonna be good as far as insurance, so, I'll be here for questions. We have served this city for 54 years with insurance. There's 8 families that we all pay taxes. I've never lived anywhere else, the Bowling Springs don't want to. But, I'll defer my time if you have any questions for the insurance, but I'll be here.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Any other?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the next item now is the consent agenda. We've got 8 items on this thing. These are things that are fairly routine in nature, but I want to make sure everybody understands that if there's any question or anything you'd like to discuss further, then we can remove it from consent agenda and move it to the regular agenda. So what's your pleasure on the consent agenda?
Motion we approve consent agenda.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor of the approval of the consent agenda, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is public hearing. First one I have is text amendment to 11.6 HIP elimination standards. I'll declare a public hearing in order at 6:44 p.m. Is there anyone here who would like to speak concerning this amendment? If not, I'll declare the hearing closed at 6:45 p.m. Now, for comments and information.
Sorry, these were supposed to go into the agenda, but I don't believe I got it to Tracy in time. So, what you have before you is proposed text amendment for 11.6 of our Unified Development Ordinance, UDO, about the illumination standards for our permanent signs in town. These do not pertain to residential signs. It's for business signs and commercial, industrial, things like that, institutional. Permanently wall-mounted monument signs, whatever that may be as outlined in 11.6 in permanent signs. Anything that you see in the documentation presented in red has been changed. Everything else is the same. It basically goes through and says that you can, as a business owner, choose whether or not you want your sign to be internally illuminated or externally illuminated. As of right now, they were only allowed to be externally illuminated. So staff thought that we should be proactive. Seeing some of the signs around town that are externally illuminated, what happens are those floodlights fall down onto the signs and they're not maintained as well. And it really restricts business owners who want to put up a new sign, especially on Main Street. They want to replace their sign, and we don't want to be too restrictive on them while maintaining the character and feel of the town. So this text amendment allows business owners to have internally illuminated signs or externally illuminated, whichever they prefer. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Wait,
How does this address the sign that somebody hangs in the window? The open sign, the flashing signs that we've had in the past that are not allowed, but does this allow them to have it not flash?
So if you look at the very end, you should have a copy of section 11.4.1 applicability. That is talking about prohibited signs. So this list here goes A through L. Those all remain the same. So they could have an internally illuminated sign or however they want to light it on the inside of a window, but it cannot flash. It still has to pertain to all of these rules that we have in place. Yes, sir.
I do appreciate the pictures, so that kind of clarifies the
Yeah,
internal and external illuminating. That was a little confusing.
Yeah, and there's all types of ways of doing it. The common one that I use is the snack shop is internally illuminated, and the tobacco vape shop across the street is externally illuminated. It just makes it easier on the business owners, not having to do any rewiring through brick to make it work out internally or externally.
So this basically lapses the ordinance a little bit.
Yes, sir.
It's not gonna cause
They're
tremendous
happy.
pain for business owners.
They're happy.
Okay.
I've not met one who wasn't about it. I mean, they're all thrilled to death.
It gives them the choice now. Plus, most of our signs are internally illuminated anyways, and we talked to, which I mentioned this to the planning board, they unanimously voted to recommend approval. And we also spoke to Bolton and Mink, who wrote the UDO back in 2020, 19, somewhere in there. And they said that they don't know what the reasoning for that was, and that it's not really applicable. It's not gonna change the feel of the small downtown that we have.
So like a situation with Gardner Webb with the sign there on the corner, I mean, you could have another business have a electronic sign as long as it met code.
Not necessarily. Any existing signs like that will just be grandfathered in to this ordinance. I may send that one over to Zach.
No. I think your question was, can someone else do what Gardner Webb's done?
Yeah.
No.
I think that would fall under
Because
those.
there could be a situation where a church would want to have some kind of electronic sign or another business to announce whatever's going on. So I just want, not picking on Gardner Webb, but that's pretty bright at that intersection and pretty distracting at times. So I just envisioned a bunch of those things around town.
Yes, and DOT doesn't like those so close to, well, I mean, our only signalized intersection. Yeah, DOT doesn't like those either. That's part of the reason for the no flashing, is because you'll get those neon rope lights that are traditionally, I think about them in vape shops. Yeah. But those, right, we have to regulate those the same way we regulate somebody's open sign.
Do you need a motion?
Yes, sir.
Is it yes?
Yes, sir.
I'd like, make a motion to amend the, text as written to 11.6.
Motion, have a second.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All those next, public hearing is budget ordinance number 260602-6, fiscal year 26-27. I declare our public hearing open at 6:51 PM. Anyone here who would like to speak to the budget ordinance? Hearing none, no one, I declare the public hearing closed. And we'll open it for comments or questions, or what's your pleasure on the budget ordinance? Surely somebody's got something to say about it.
I think we had a pretty healthy discussion at the last meeting on the budget ordinance. Of course, anybody's open to add to it.
I did not provide you with a narrative like I did last year. So last year I gave you a 10-page budget message and I think a 5-page narrative because we had some things that changed between the May meeting and the June meeting. We didn't have any changes materially to the budget in between May and June, and so I did not provide you all with a narrative. And so what you've got in your packet here is the staff report that outlines the my view of what you all wanted us to put into the budget. You've got the actual ordinance itself. So that's on page, ordinance begins on page 28 of your agenda packet. And so you've got section 1, which is the general fund, section 2, which is the water sewer fund, the fee schedule for the upcoming, the proposed fee schedule for the upcoming fiscal year. I will also note that none of the special authorizations changed, neither did the use of the budget. So anything on 33, all that's the same every year, other than we changed the dates. Of course, always happy to answer questions or to discuss the budget, if there are any questions, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any questions, any comments?
Is the insurance package inside the budget?
The insurance, so there is, insurance generally is a budgeted item. The provider of the town's insurance is not inside of the budget. Does that make sense? So there's a line in there, yeah, there are multiple lines in the budget that are called insurance. So that's like the police department has insurance. So there's a pot of money there to pay for the insurance. The budget doesn't direct what provider we use for our insurance coverage. Yes, sir.
What's your pleasure?
I move that the budget ordinance, budget option be approved.
Second.
Have a second?
You got a second?
We did.
Mr. Councilman Davis.
All right, I have a motion, have a second. All those in favor of the approval of the budget amendment, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Believe it or not, finally got down to regular business. Next item on the agenda is the acceptance of insurance provider and property liability insurance and workers' comp coverage. Questions, comments? Is anyone here from the league?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I have a question.
All right.
How was this, we've had insurance agents, taking care of the town for over 50 years. How did this come to be, that we just decided that we will open it up? What was the process?
So we had a discussion back in, I'm going off memory, February-ish, maybe March, where we had a discussion about ongoing insurance. I think the mayor every year, in his special way, mentions that we shop auditors. And so that, we looked and said, okay, when's the last time we've shopped auditors? I don't recall when that was. It's been 2 or 3 years. Well, it was before I got here, so it's been 3-ish years ago. And so then the conversation was, when's the last time we shopped insurance? Have we discussed shopping insurance? What does that look like? And so we had a long conversation about using our current provider, which is Hamrick Insurance, as our broker, and then they we, through them as our broker, we have EMC insurance. And so that was the genesis of the conversation, was as we shop everything else, should we also shop insurance? As we're looking at the year audit and looking at budget to actuals and looking at how, like everything else, insurance costs are going up year over year.
So we have a insurance that's taken care of the town for over 50 years. And so we decide that we're not happy with them, we're not, maybe not somewhere to use. Have we had any complaints about our insurance? Why would that be brought up? And I know you sort of explained it, but we've got, this has really taken care of the town for 54 years, or over 50 years. And now we pick out through there, we're gonna see if we can make a change in that particular area. I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned about a business, they're a locally business, so, I don't really understand.
Let me speak a little bit to that, and I don't think Hamrick Insurance is opposed to bidding insurance. I think it's something that they're very familiar with. I know at the college, we bid our insurance. I think the questions that I have are more related to how the process went. Is there anyone here from the league?
They are here from the league. I didn't know, I did not know, so we don't traditionally, y'all know, y'all are here every month with me. So typically, you all ask me questions directly, and I answer them to the best of my ability. And if I need to ask, then I can.
That's fine.
And if that's what it's your meeting, we'll do whatever y'all wanna do.
Sure. One of the concerns I have is the process we went through. And I'm very familiar with bidding the insurance, I did that for 3 years at the college. The way we bid insurance was we put out a bid package, just like we put out a quote from our own bid on the building. And in that document, we specified what every coverage we wanted to limit and all that stuff. All one blank there, and that's how much does it cost. And then we had a bid opening date, just like we had a bid opening date for the water, sewer, or whatever. And then, when one of those bids came in, I never opened the bid. You know, what was in the envelope until the bid opening date. And then, specified time, anybody who would bid, or everybody wanted to come, we opened the packets. And we were always bidding apples to apples. And I spent about half my day-to-day going through the bid proposal from Hamrick Insurance and the bid from EMC. And I'm not sure they're apples to apples. In fact, there's somewhere in here it says, it's subject to change. I've never seen a bid that had subject to change. What does that mean? I mean, I'm not sure I like to know what that means, subject to change. When you bid, and that's your number. That term, somewhere in something I read, it said, subject to change. Also,
Which bid? The Hamrick Insurance bid?
no, the EMC bid,
The
league bid. Somewhere in
The
there it said,
NCLM bid, yeah.
yeah,
I'm assuming, I don't know, I'm guessing it's the
Yeah.
NCLM.
Yeah, that's one of them. And, a little concerned about the umbrella piece.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding that they don't have an umbrella. They up the limits on like, instead of having $1 million coverage, they have 5 million or something like that. That concerns me a little bit. What happens when they have to pay out more than $5 million? The umbrella sits on top of all that, including workman's comp, by the way. They don't have umbrellas. That concerns me a little bit. I don't know about anybody else, but it does me. Also, have they looked at all our buildings? Have they inspected all our buildings? that they're gonna be insuring, did they inspected them?
No, sir, so they took the value, the current total value of our properties that are currently identified on our insurance, and then from there, they ascertained our rate. And then there's part of the league's package is a property reappraisal it's either 3 or 5 years, hold on, give me a second. I'm skimming and scanning. Formal property reappraisal costed every 5 years at no cost. Is that right? Sorry. Give me a second.
Okay. And I didn't see any coverage for underground lines and pipes. Have any coverage for that?
None that I know of. Oh, never mind. There is coverage for underground lines and pipes. I apologize. I'm wrong.
There is where?
Yes, sir.
I didn't see. I'm not saying it wasn't there, I'm just saying I didn't see it.
Yes, so our underwriter says it is in there. I can look through here and find it. That's what I'm looking
Does Hedrick currently cover that?
Well, yes,
And is it,
it's in there.
I haven't had a chance to look at it all in her book yet, but
Yeah.
she's got it.
And I didn't see anything about bonds, they cover bonds?
They do. They bond over 500 town clerks and finance officers across the state with traveler's insurance. And traveler's insurance is one of the options at our disposal.
So they actually purchase the insurance from travelers?
Yes, and they purchase it in a group, in an aggregate group. So, I assume that by purchasing it in a group, you would get I don't really know the answer to that. Yes, purchasing bond insurance in a group, now, that would meet the statutory requirement for Rhonda to be bonded, obviously. So we'll get the bond amount that Rhonda would need, which is a percentage of our annual budget.
So there's something for bonding in their quote?
So they're getting us bonding information, and yes, so their bonding is in their quote, yes, sir.
How about a vehicle?
Yes, sir.
And, Mr. Litton, that just provided me with a document from them that says, we do not provide insurance for paid services or underground piping. And I thought that was the case. I mean, I didn't just come up with that.
I thought I had read something.
Yeah, I did too.
I just,
Is it in that bulleted letter?
It
is.
Okay.
It says they do not provide it.
Yeah.
That quote does. I mean, Hamilton does.
So
We have a lot of
Yes.
underground,
We do,
and we're gonna have more.
yeah, I hope.
Oh, pretty soon.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
My name is Lisa Kinsey. I'm the Director of Business Services. My background is I'm a commercial underwriter, and I've been doing this for 39 years.
Lisa, will you do me a favor?
Sure.
Will you speak into that microphone?
Yeah,
I can't
I
hear.
sure will.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. As far as underground pipes go, the coverage, generally speaking, you're right, it's excluded. That is a common exclusion under the ISO Accord form. You're right. We add back coverage for within a wastewater treatment facility, water treatment facility. We add back coverage for underground pipes within the fenced-in area of the treatment plant.
That's not really, that doesn't, what about underground wiring? Underground lines, like AT&T, they put lines lines underground.
Generally speaking, those are uninsured,
Uninsured.
yes.
They are covered with Ameren insurance.
Those would, no, we don't own them. Those underground AT&T or electrical lines, we don't own
Well,
them.
maybe I used the wrong term there. We've got some underground lines, and I know that.
Our
Yeah,
water and
yeah.
sewer lines are covered as part of their
I'm not
water and
talking
waste.
water and sewer, I'm talking about other type of underground lines.
Typically, underground, anything is not insurable. That's standard.
How about Mr. Daves? Can you address that, Mr. Daves?
That's not a correct statement.
It's not a correct statement.
Okay,
No.
okay.
We have all kinds of enhancements in there. Fiber optics, anything underground is covered under the EMC policy.
But the town doesn't own fiber optic, the town doesn't own telephone.
It doesn't matter what it is, we paid over $1 million.
I guess if we were digging,
For-
the city was digging and doing some type of repair and we struck one of those lines, we would be liable for that.
That would be liability.
That would be our liability.
Right, and that's if we didn't call 811 dig.
And if it was a contractor for us, they would have their own liability covered.
Yeah,
And we do own the sewer and the water, which is covered within the sewer capacity.
Okay, what about the vehicle? How'd you rate the vehicles? You said your
They're
quote
individually
just says
rated.
38 vehicles.
Every vehicle has its own class code based on the year, make, model, VIN number, and the class code, so that you, so that a police vehicle is rated like a police vehicle. Garbage truck, fire truck, they're all individually rated.
I guess I have a little problem, you know, maybe somebody has it, but I got this from Hamrick Insurance. I got a sheet of paper from you.
So we got we have a comprehensive coverage, and so then it came with a narrative that we sent out. And so that narrative was the letter, the multiple letters that we got, and then we sent out this kind of booklet that we had scanned in.
I have another couple more points here, comparing the two. What's your deductible for police liability?
$10,000,
That's the deductible.
that is,
Hamrick Insurance is $5,000. What's your deductible for public official liability?
10,000.
Theirs is 2,500. What about, med pay coverage?
No fault coverage for slip and falls. I'll tell you, there's no deductible for med pay, and it's only a limit of $2,500 for med pay. That would be no fault. That means if someone slips and falls on your property and you weren't legally liable, they just tripped and fall. It would take care of medical bills only. A lot of our members in property liability, and we have close to 500, elect not to buy no-fault coverage because they choose to use public tax dollars for only legal liability coverage in the face of the law that you are legally responsible for.
I don't know here that I found in Hamrick Insurance where they're $10,000. So, and that's what concerns me, you know, we're not comparing the same to same. You know, in a bid, we would have said what would it be to have $10,000 deductible, $5,000, rather than just saying, what coverage do you provide?
We have minimum limits, just like any carrier, they would have minimum, deductibles and limits that they provide, so everyone's different.
There too. Can you explain to me why it says subject to change?
Under where?
I didn't bring all my notes, but somewhere I saw it said subject to change.
The only thing I can think of is the workers' comp. So when you enter into a workers' comp policy, you always estimate the payrolls going in because you don't know what the payrolls will be for the upcoming year. So typically, once a workers' comp policy will end, then you shore it up with an audit. You actually get the IRS documents for the actual payrolls that were paid within that 12-month period. You take the audited payrolls, you shore them up to the estimated, and depending on how it falls out, either you overestimated or underestimated, and that's how that works. So it's always based on an estimated premium.
Okay, here's here's where I might have to change the wording a little bit. It said, quote is subject to a favorable loss control survey.
Yeah, that's
Your document?
that's ours,
Yes.
If applicable.
yeah. We have never done that.
Why is it in there then?
Because it's always the right for any commercial carrier to do that.
So, Mr. Manager, when did we ask for, a quote from Hamrick Insurance?
After we got the quote from Lee.
Do you mean, when did we ask for a quote for the upcoming fiscal year's budget? Or do you mean, when did we tell them that we had gotten a
When
quote?
did we
from-
begin the process of all this stuff?
We begin the process of getting all of our budget documents together in December. We initially reached out to our agent in February because, as I review budget to actuals, every year insurance is one of the lines where every year we're having to constantly go up. And so, we're making internal budget amendments to cover those losses. And so those internal budget amendments are using like salary dollars, something, because the budget's already done. And so we're having to put money in to cover where those costs have come up. And the actual always exceeds, or almost always exceeds, the budgeted amount for those. So Ms. Allen and I are having to make those internal amendments. So we reached out in February to say, hey, we're getting our budget documents together like we do every year. We need to know what to plug into, to these lines. We reached out again several times, went into May, at which point we I sent you all the same email where we had disassembled this packet we got from the league and said, this is the quote that we have, here's all the information that I had at the time, so that everybody had the same information. And so then we sent that over to Debbie Trivet and I think Buddy, but I wouldn't swear if Buddy was on there or not, but I know Debbie was.
And so did the rest of the council, who had copies of this prior to us getting here tonight?
I did.
What is in your hand?
The budget proposed, the Maxwell Hamrick.
Is yours the same one that I have?
Yes.
Okay. So on the back page,
Was that something that was sent electronically or, because I was traveling today?
so we got this, we got it Friday.
We just got it tonight.
Council
Okay.
stuff.
So we got it, no, we didn't get it Friday. Was it Friday? We got it Friday.
Friday.
And so we met Friday morning, with Buddy and Debbie, and then, compared coverages, looked at this, and I sent you all this back page.
Yeah, we got that.
Yes, but not the full booklet. I will say, and if that's an error of my judgment, then that's completely my fault. I have never known the board to fully review a document of this length. And so,
But generally that would fall within you as the town manager and maybe you as town clerk, somebody to look at those in contractual type basis and compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges.
which we do every year. It just is that every year we do it with Hamrick Insurance specifically, we don't use another provider.
And do you feel like you've had adequate time to review the bid proposal for each entity?
Yes, sir. And we did it again this year with health insurance. And we're switching health insurance providers from Blue Cross Blue Shield to MedCost. It's just part of it, and that doesn't come before the board, because all of that information gets, it's extremely specific information.
When is the last time this insurance has been quoted or shopped?
I wanna say either 2007 or 2002.
And why has it been that long?
I'm not sure. I have only worked here since November 15th of 2023.
I understand that that we don't have a policy that says every so many years we'll bid.
There is no policy that says that.
I think we need one.
I instructed Ms. Holland to put that in the clerk listserv to see how often other folks are shopping. We didn't get a lot of responses, we got one. but they said every 3 years. I've reached out to see how often other people shop, and it seems to be about the frequency that they shop their auditors.
I know it's because we did every 3 years.
I mean, but we shop other policies.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I think.
We're the government, we generally shop everything.
And from my understanding, this began because we were having some challenges with budgeting. We were looking for ways to save money. We were looking for ways to, lack of a better term, doge things, to look at, where we're spending money and could we get something cheaper. We also talked about the auditor and do we need to go with somebody else so that we get a complete different set of eyes looking at stuff for accountability purposes. We were going under GASB, all kind of different rules. With all these grants and all this stuff, it wasn't because we had a problem or we didn't like the insurance or anything like that. We were just looking at a holistic view to see where we could save money. And we still have some challenges with our budget, and we have some infrastructure issues, and we have a lot of things going on then. So that was my concern when this first popped off, was like, hey, has Hamrick Insurance had time to look at the other quote to see if they could match that quote? I think that's what I said to you directly, hey, let's give them an opportunity to see, could they match it, because I would love to stay local, and I would love to support our local people. And then the flip side of that is, to what expense do we do that? Because when you're talking about $10,000
But
or
to me,
$100,000.
to me, that's part of the problem is, we should never say, can you match this quote? Nobody should know what the quote is till everybody's at the table. You shouldn't be saying, can you beat this quote, or what is your quote? We should have a process that says, here's how we're gonna bid our insurance. And everybody should go in saying, we should have all our limits and everything, all they do is fill in the, now this is not what we're dealing with tonight, but I do think it would, I think we need a policy that says, but I think we need a process also.
Yeah, and we can definitely look, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. We can look into it as part of our procurement policies that we'll go through during the summer.
Yeah, and like I say,
Mr. Mayor, can I address the board?
Well, I was gonna ask I was gonna ask for if I could, I don't know how this works, but I'm from Hamrick Insurance.
I mean,
But generally, we don't do that in
Well,
the past.
Well, we
But the,
let the league.
but the
Well,
league,
league got the
league got the floor.
got the floor, why can we not?
I think that was a question about limits and things. She can't answer a question, but whatever the board wants to do.
We can answer questions that were asked as well.
Okay,
I don't have an issue with it, anybody else?
This is one of those,
Board two.
you governing yourselves questions. So,
I wanna say, I think this would be better handled in a work session, where we have time to review the documents, and we have a way to ask and question and receive answers. To me, a lot of this is rushed and fragmented.
Again, I've got lots of concerns. I'm gonna put a motion on the table that we stay with Hamrick Insurance this year. And then we follow up on what Patrick's saying. I would make that in the form of a motion that we stay with Hamrick Insurance this year. I'll put that on the table.
Have a motion, have a second. Hearing none, that motion will fail by lack of a second.
I think there's a lot to discuss. I don't think you can,
I think one of the options we have here is to table the motion.
because when you're, I think before, what was our total amount that we budgeted for insurance this year?
so
What have we been paying for Hamrick Insurance since?
340-ish, 315, 340.
Okay,
So that's the number that will be in the budget.
right,
And then the quote was 246,183.
okay,
And then the quote from the league was 145,825,
right.
which is a difference of $100,300.
So 2.5 cents of the taxpayer dollars that we're trying to figure out. I think that is worth time to discuss and not make a decision right now.
Mr. Mayor, you through?
Go ahead, Justin.
I would like to make a motion to table it and for us to have a work session and discuss this further.
And you just win. We need to know when.
Yeah, that's at the date and the time.
Yeah.
Do we not already have a subcommittee date?
We can meet next week, so is our regularly scheduled subcommittee. There we go. And it's at 5:30 next week.
The ninth.
So that gives us the week to do homework. That's my motion. So next Tuesday, something.
Mr. Davis, Councilman Davis, that we table this motion until, Tuesday, June the ninth at 5:30 p.m.
Second. Okay, go ahead.
Motion second, any further discussion? All in favor,
Discussion,
let it be known by saying
I'd like to discuss, we have a document right here. It's already been spread out more so than we do the league.
Yep, I mean, I need to back up.
I'm just finished, Mr. Mayor, let me finish my discussion.
You're not,
I'm just, discussing. So I'm just throwing that out, we have this right here, legit, we've had for, this business for over 50-something years.
And I've had this document since 6:30 this
I know,
evening. And I can't really make a good decision. I want to be fair to Hamrick Insurance. I want to be, because they have been great partners with the town for many, many years.
all years, that's what I'm
Many,
trying
many
to
years.
protect.
Before I was born, maybe. And so I want to give them the luxury of being able to let us compare these two documents. And I didn't mean to cut you off, Billy. I just want us to make sure that we are looking at
we
this
need to be
document.
fair to all parties. I think maybe just because we hadn't received this document in this format does not mean that the town manager doesn't have it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'd like to see both.
That's right.
That's what I think Justin's asking for, and I'm asking so that we can have a good conversation, healthy conversation. We can then,
I think it'd be very advantageous of us to take our time and look through everything. This does affect everybody.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
Affects taxpayers, affects
terrible
jobs.
effect on everyone, yeah.
Yes. So I have a motion, do I have a second, somebody second? Second, any further discussion? All in favor of the motion that we table the insurance discussion until Tuesday, June the ninth at 5:30 p.m. Let it be known by saying aye. All
No.
opposed, nay.
No,
Motion carries.
But will we get this information before Tuesday so we can study it at home?
So I will get you all, you have,
We've got.
everyone sitting up there, all 6 of you, has this bound book in your hand. And so I will get you the league's version of this exact thing.
Perfect.
But it will come to you only via email. Now, if you need a hard copy, we'll print you one. So how many hard copies of the league's proposal?
How many
do you-
pages are we talking about?
I have no idea.
If it's as large as this one, I'd rather get it, you print it.
Yeah, I mean, we will print it. Just tell me how many people want a printed
Well, I'll get
copy.
a printed copy.
How many? Oh, I missed your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, okay.
I don't mind printing my own, but
Well, we'll print you one.
I would like to see an executive summary, side-by-side comparison, executive summary.
Oh, yeah, that would be very.
I can't put all these numbers together and have them get them add up. I've been told 2 or 3 different things.
And we did, out of order, but we did send copies for all of you to be distributed to you before the meeting.
yes, but I guess being fair to the league, they didn't know that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I'm not familiar with that, so I'm not sure where those copies are, because they're not here.
What?
When Buddy came, he brought copies for everybody, and then they weren't gonna be distributed, so he picked them back
Ms.
up.
Hammer, he did not. I'm sorry. I don't know what you want me to tell you. He brought 3 extra copies, and there are 6 of them. He came and picked up the 3 copies. Now, we can.
We made sure they had one tonight.
Right, I mean, that's
all it was.
yeah, and that's fine, but
Okay, any further questions, comments? I just like to say that we wanna be fair to everybody. We'll be fair to Hamrick Insurance, we'll be fair to the league, but most of all, we'll be fair to citizens of town of Bowling Springs. And I think we need to use our due diligence to make the best decision we can and to compare apples to apples, and then we go from there and hopefully we can prevent something like this from happening in the future. By such a policy or something such every 3 years we'll be at insurance. And like I say, they're very familiar with bidding insurance, everybody is, I mean, they do it all the time. It's not foreign to them, and they don't consider it something derogatory, they consider it beneficial, that it should be. And I'm sure the league does the same. So I think we can prevent some of this from happening in the future by policy and procedure. And like I say, have a bid packet, send out the bid. See, we just did it, if we send out a bid packet, we may have 5 different insurance companies to bid. We've had others. So that gives everybody in the area a chance, if you do the bidding process, you advertise the bid. Just like you hope you get 5 or 6 contractors to bid on the project. So hopefully you maybe prevent some of this from. Any other comments?
Can I say something, one thing?
I think she ought to be given the opportunity to be in.
I think the lease came up, so, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm Ashley, I do the accounting at, Hamrick Insurance, and, I do the majority of Gardner Webb's proposals. One of the things we talked about with us having the majority, we have Gardner Webb's insurance, we have the fire department, we have, a lot of the businesses in town. If there were a huge catastrophe to come through, it's a benefit for you to, everybody to be able to call, one person. We're in town, we can walk here, we can be here 2 minutes. When you've got the old town hall building, which is shared with Gardner Webb, so you've got to look at that. Also, one of the huge differences in the proposals is, I'm trying to think what it's called, I can't think of it right now. So we have you can go back, okay, this is an example. In the past couple of years, the police chief has been fired. If he came 5 years down the road and sued the town for wrongful termination, we can go back, our policy goes back to 2002, when we first wrote the town insurance with employers. And you'll see in the league's proposal, that goes back to it would start at 7/1/2026. You would have to purchase additional insurance to go back. And to go back to 02 would be a huge amount of money.
Oh, tail coverage.
Yeah, tail coverage, I couldn't think of it. Sorry, I'm nervous, I don't like talking about it. But the tail coverage is a huge thing, that's a huge, I mean, anybody can come back and sue from, somebody that failed on the sidewalk or, anything, and that's a huge, the $100,000 difference is not a true difference, because you have a lot of enhancements on the property, the auto, a lot of things that, now we just had a sheet from the league, so there could be stuff in there that we couldn't see. But, a lot of the things that we looked at, and we worked really hard on this and going through and, but Employers has a really great package, and, at the end of the day, they stand behind their people they insure. And so I just wanted you to know about the tail coverage specifically, because we have had, the thing that came to my mind was the chief. If he comes back and sues, if you don't have that extra coverage, if you go with the league, then that's gonna be a huge issue. So, that's all I wanted to say.
Agreed, and that's something to be included in the package. We could say, how much tail coverage do you have? Or we could say, you must have tail coverage back to a certain time.
Right.
So that'd be, if we were bidding it, that'd be one of the things to have to bid.
And I think the other thing is, we have a ton of companies. We met with Travelers. Travelers has Gardner Webb's insurance, and Travelers asked about the town. Well, we had no idea it was being bid or anything. We could have done a lot more, getting different prices or things like that, but, I think the disappointment we've had is that it wasn't done, we feel, ethically, and that's what our concern is. Thank you.
in terms of, I'm sorry, tail coverage, the league is willing to, so they were gonna have a retro date of July 1st of 2023. We found that out today, so they had spoken with their league underwriter, so that would be part of the tail coverage. Now, also in terms of tail coverage, and I'm not an insurance agent or a broker, so I don't know, but potentially we could go with EMC through Hamrick Insurance to purchase tail coverage. That's something, when I've spoken with other municipal units across the state, that's something that they're all familiar with doing, is purchasing separate tail coverage policies.
At our expense.
Yes, anytime that you would change an insurance company, you would likely want to purchase tail coverage, because the insurance you're switching to, effective whatever the new date is, isn't gonna cover things that have happened in the past.
Right.
And so you would want that coverage, at that time.
I got a comment to make. I take offense to, basically us being called unethical. I don't think our town manager or this board operates unethically. So, I take offense to that statement.
Yes. Okay, moving on. Comments? Thanks. Over there. Board comments?
I'd like, maybe as a part of our meeting, you know, I think what would be beneficial is to have those people available to be able to answer these questions. I can't figure out these documents. I mean, they're the professionals. You know, the league representatives, the professional, I can look through these things, and I can look at numbers and what it says, but you know, are they gonna be available to maybe help us decipher some of this stuff?
We're available anytime.
I mean, that would be really helpful to me, because you guys deal with it every day. I don't deal with insurance companies every day, but I don't know, that's just me, I sort
I
of
understand.
get in the weeds of all this stuff.
See how big this is?
Yeah,
But I understand, but I still think that, like I said, I've been it for 20 years in college.
yeah, but.
A lot of this can be prevented by a proper bid document.
Oh, yeah, yes, I
You
think,
don't always
I think we do
spell
have
it
that
out, so
policy.
everybody's bidding the same stuff. So I do think we did a haphazard with it.
Yeah, I agree
And it's new
100%.
to us, we didn't.
But I think, just knowing that if maybe they're available to answer those questions, because with my limited understanding of it, I just don't know that I can make a good solid decision, so. But that's just numbers to numbers, and that's just me.
Sure.
So anyway, we can move on now, I'm sorry.
Anybody else? Sure. And this may be a good time for my favorite statement, you know. It's okay for us to disagree, but we still got business to do, we still all, we need to all end up on the same page, you know. We're not enemies here, we're certainly not, we wanna be fair to everybody here. And so, we wanna do what's best. Bottom line is, we're here to do what's best for the citizens of town of Bowling Springs to the best of our ability. And we've disagreed a lot, maybe we don't disagree as much out here as we do in the back, but, that's part of it. But when we get, bottom line is, we got to work together and stay together, and, I hope we can continue to do that. I'm sure we can, and I know we will. Okay, all right, let's move on now. Comments?
So, I need you all to tell me with absolute clarity what exactly you expect from me, Tracy, and our staff for next week's meeting, so that I can get you in the next 7 days everything that you need, because our insurance coverage ends potentially on June the 30th. So I need to know with 100% certainty what you need from me in these next 7 days. So Hamrick Insurance is gonna be available at that meeting, and the league representatives will also do that. So we'll have both of them at the meeting next week.
And I think the documents, so that we can do a comparison beforehand, and we can look at the documents
Okay.
and executive summary.
Yeah, I want to say an executive summary.
Yeah, just the executive summary is comparing,
Who do you want to prepare that?
I don't know.
can, I'm not an insurance, I mean, I'm not an insurance professional. So that's my concern, is that I don't want to give you some, I mean, I don't wanna give you something that
How would you propose doing?
I'm not certain.
So what
That's-
was this that we got on the back page from Hamilton, is that not
That's-
their executive summary?
That's their executive,
Yeah.
that's their
Okay, so can we get the same thing?
summary of coverages, so that's their, well, so that's their premium page, but it doesn't have information in there like what kind of tail coverage is on.
No, we need the full document, but the
Right.
executive.
But that would suffice, so this will suffice as an executive summary.
Yeah, but I wanna see them side by side so I can compare them.
Yeah,
This other
that's what-
document has numbers all over the place.
Yeah, that's what he wants.
And I would want to see something too, for me, I want to see something like, like police liability, what's their deductibles compared also. Like right here, I'd like to say, in police liability, the league says 10,000 is their deductible. The Hamburg insurance says 5. That's, to me, that's good information, and it's valuable information. Because deductibles, that's how they're gonna pay, and the rest of it's up to us.
Zach, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Where did this come from? This is a comparison.
Yes, it is. I did not prepare that.
I don't know if it comes from the league, it's very good information, it's not accurate.
May I see it?
It's the spreadsheet that
It's
was in that letter.
got E&C on there also.
I think it's from I think we compared our declaration sheet from E&C.
This would help you out.
I gotta look and see.
But it's not accurate, you need to make sure
Well,
when it's done.
that's what I mean, I think that's what we paid this year.
Let's see.
Yeah.
There's a lot of difference in the coverages too.
Yeah, basically, and I'm probably speaking out of order again because I'm bad at doing that. I said, basically, you need a sheet or a spreadsheet, and we make spreadsheets of our stuff all the time. You need to show, like for instance, vehicles, they need to be listed. You need the, coverage, the coverage on the vehicles. And if they're all the same, that's fine, you can just show that. And then you would show the premium, and on each section of the policy. And you would need to show the deductible, you would need to show, if there's any excess coverage, like an umbrella or something that sits on top of everything. Just make sure, we bid all the time. We bid, in Cleveland County, we bid in Buncombe County, we bid all around. And we're quite familiar with how to put a bid package together. But the thing is that you need a sheet that tells you what is required and, what the bid package is. And then you would address each of those items, and you would give your bid on each of those items. We, as a business and as a family, appreciate all that all of you do. We do. And we're not throwing shade at anybody. It just stunned a little bit when we were not included up front in the fact that there was going to be a bid. Normally, the average bid package takes 2 months to put together. It takes 2 months. And, that's just normal. But, we do not expect to be handed someone else's numbers. We wanna come up with our own numbers. And that's the process, that's the way it's done. But, we do appreciate the town. I worked here for 15 years, so, back in my younger days. So, I sent we didn't have a town, manager at that point in time. So I put together many things for the town to bid, the bidding process. And it doesn't have to be hard, but it just, the average doesn't know what they're looking at because they're not supposed to. You know, you're really good at something else. We do this every day, so we're really good at this. But we're not expecting you to be or become insurance professionals, you know, to be able to bid a project. But the only thing that we ask is put a spreadsheet together, whether it's Zach or whoever you choose to do it, and then quote apples for apples across the board on each thing, so you will be able to compare, you know, what's out there and what coverages are there, what's missing on one or the other. So that's all that is.
Thank you.
And I don't want to beat the dead horse, but see, a lot of these things could have been, if it had a bid packet, a lot of this could have been permitted, you know, we just have apples to apples, you over bids, do every, there's only one thing left for them to do, and that's tell us how much it costs. We've got all our limits and everything we desire, they tell us how much they cost, and we pick whichever one is the lowest. But that's not what happens now, it's not what happens this time. So I think we'll get it worked out, and I think we can be fair to everybody. We'll come up, you can come up with something, we'll work it out. We'll work it out.
So in terms of an executive summary,
Yes.
I still need some clarity. So we don't just want prices, we want to know the coverages, the deductibles.
Well, how about this, could Hamrick Insurance provide us a page with the deductibles and the coverage list, and then ask the North Carolina municipalities to do the same? And then that way we could have it in time to compare those two, that way they're doing their own work, League's doing their own work, and then we'll make a decision based on it. Does that sound agreeable? I think they're the
I think that's a good
professionals,
idea.
and we have to lean on them to know what the coverages are and the deductibles and the limits and all that stuff. Is that something the league could help do on their end? Is that something the Hammer could do on their end?
Yes, yes, I think so. So
Is
they
that
will,
something you guys,
they will both come up with their own pages of executive summaries, trying to keep it to one page.
Okay, I guess my question would be to that, is the standard of what you're wanting everybody to quote on what's in our policy now? You know, you have to have a starting point. You have to have, before you can compare apples and apples, you have to know what the apples are.
I think we'd look at the coverage we have now.
Okay, okay.
If everybody's happy with the coverage we have now, why would we not look at the coverages we got now?
well, it's my understanding we were gonna get better at a cheaper price. So that's.
I mean, I think that
there's.
I think as a non-insurance professional, there's a difference of opinion as to whether we currently have too much coverage, not enough coverage, or somewhere in between. I'm not an insurance broker, I don't know. I will tell you, as I've consulted with other municipal units as a class of specific types of insured groups across the state, and I've called references, what they said to me was, the coverage that the league has provided us as part of their base level, general liability, property, and workers' comp insurance is the coverage that we need. Because there are unique laws and sovereign immunities that apply to municipal units, which is why, when, I was asked about preparing an executive summary, I don't know that I can do that because I don't have the technical expertise required to provide that information to the board. So I think we're clear on the executive summary, and so we'll have Henrik, and we'll ask the league to come back next week, and I'm guessing they need to be, available for questions from the board. When would you all like that information? I don't wanna say as soon as possible, I know that's the answer, but I mean, we need to give them a date, so that everybody's competing on similar footing.
by Friday.
By Thursday.
What is reasonable?
Yeah, I mean, what is reasonable? That's reasonable.
What is reasonable?
I mean, we have that time to look at it.
Yeah, I mean,
That's why I made it basic Friday, because I thought, man, that
We don't have
seems
enough time.
We
to look.
can have it prepared by Thursday.
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 is that reasonable?
If they've got a rep and we've got a rep here, we can compare it. They're not the same. They're not the same.
Yeah, and then take the policy that's
thing that-
here.
yeah,
and
I'm
then
sorry.
And then draw out like deductibles,
Yeah.
coverage, like, that type of thing,
limits liability.
One of the things that bothers us a lot is that the coverages between the two are not the same.
Yeah, and that's where you would have a brief explanation. of why
Right,
that is.
but if we're not asked, like the mayor said, if we're not asked to quote the same thing, you know,
Yeah.
the same group of specs, then you're gonna be right back where you are right here.
But I think what we'd have to do at that point is decide, is the cost. Are we happy with the cost and the deductible is less? We just have to make a decision there about, the deductible may not be the same, but does the cost compensate for that? Does that make any sense?
Yes.
So I think at that point, we'd have to make a decision as, the deductible's less, but something else offsets that. You know what I mean? We just have to come up with the best bottom line that we could, I would think. Especially, right now. And we need to do it before June 30th. We won't have any
Yeah.
issues.
Can I receive a digital copy of this? Yes. Thank you.
So what is the option on coverage? I know it ends June 30th, so we have to do it for a whole year. Are there any options to extend for a month, or 3 months, 6 months, or?
I think it kind of tricky.
I'm not sure.
I could extend it for a year.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I would think, you're picking up month coverage and dropping the insurance, stuff like that. Usually end up losing it. I would think anything, you probably need to extend it, at least that would be my thinking.
I would hope that we could come to a conclusion on June 9th.
Sure.
I mean, that's what needs to be done. Either that, or we're just wasting our time here tonight.
I agree.
True.
Either way, the coverage can be bound. You give either one of us the word, the coverage can be bound. I mean, that's,
That's good to know.
you'll not go without insurance.
Okay. All right.
As long as you choose before June 30th.
Yeah.
Right. Sure, we can do that. I know we can. I know you guys will. You'll do the right thing. I know you always do.
Are y'all good?
I think that I very clear, I understand what you all want from me as best as I am able.
That's all we ask.
Thank you.
And I hope we're not, hope there's nothing we said or anything that, indicates that we're saying you were at fault in any way. That's not true. I don't think anybody up here thinks that. I don't. Does anybody else?
No, this started because we were looking at the money, the financials, and, like I said, we need a policy, and we need, moving forward, we need a policy and some type of way of dealing with these type things in the future.
Well, my concern was that we've had this over 50 years and been very happy with it, but all of a sudden we want to try to cut it and so we're in a predicament now. That's my thought on things.
I understand that position.
Understand that too.
And I can understand how that might, feel toward, Hamrick Insurance as well, how they would feel about that. So, and again, it was about a money thing, and sometimes that gets us blindsided, so I blame myself as being one of the board members, but I can't place blame on anybody else. Hopefully moving forward, we can come to a resolution and do what's right for the citizens of Bowling Springs.
That's gotta be the forefront. Okay, let's move on. Only comments.
We have a mural unveiling tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Thanks to Tracy for her work on that.
Amen to that.
July 7th, we've got our regularly scheduled town council meeting. Police Department's got a movie night on June 27th. We're showing Zootopia 2. And Mike's retirement party is on June 25th. And so we'll have that here in this room. And his replacement, his successor is actually here tonight. And his name's Ridge, and Ridge is in the back of the room. Wave, Ridge, there's Ridge. And
Mike, what time's Mike's?
I do not. We'll send it to you all in an email. And I don't have any other remarks, Mr. Mayor.
But you're looking at around a month, you're looking at a day event?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
wanna thank the council for the hard work they put in the budget. This is a long time, 4 months, working the budget, and that's something that we can be proud of. I wanna thank Henry Insurance for coming tonight and presenting what they had, and for the short time span that they had, were given. I wanna thank the league for coming also, and for answering questions. I think we have a big decision coming up on what we're going to do. $100,000 is a lot when it comes to a small budget that we have. For me, I want to be well informed on both sides of the aisle. That way I can make the best decision for the taxpayers and for the citizens in the town of Bowling Springs. That's it.
I don't have anything. I would echo the same things that, you know, we try to make the best decisions we can based on the information. And I'm just thankful we have more time to look at, especially this insurance situation, but, you know, we put a lot of thought into things. We try to weigh out what's best. And like Mr. Green said before, Mayor Green, that, you know, we might have a disagreement, but we can all come to what's an agreement for what's best for the town, and then still be friends at the end of it. So that's all I've got.
Well, I look forward to looking at the data further and moving forward. We'll make a decision and go from there. I appreciate the work that both the insurance companies have put into it. Thank you.
I mean, I guess I have to second, third, what everybody else has said. It's, you know, as a town council person, I think the hardest thing that we do is work the budget for this town. And I believe as a whole, this council always takes into consideration the citizens of Bowling Springs. We all love this town. We want to do what's best for this town. So we'll get this right and we'll move on. So we'll see what happens in the next week. But I think no matter how it turns out, we'll do what's best for the town of Bowling Springs. And I wish Mike was here tonight. I could say congratulations on his retirement. We talked in the hall the other day. He's really looking forward to retirement. But he did say he was gonna stay on for a while for you, Rich, to help you out because he knows, he doesn't just know where the bodies are buried, he knows where all the pipes and electrical are buried. So, and you know the condition of all the pumps and everything, so I hope you're a quick study and you can catch up on everything that Mike can glean to you, whatever time you have together, but welcome to the town. That's all I have to say, Mr. Mayor.
I think that I've always been the kind of boy, I've been on the board over 25 years. And I think it's to take care of the citizens, the staff, take care of our local businesses. Don't forget about it. And I would hope the council would always remember that kind of thing. So that's all I have.
I guess I'm last, I'm always last, so I have to either echo or I try to go on something new. I'd just like to say to Emmerich Insurance, got a lot of friends sitting out here, and you've always been a good citizen, corporate citizen of the town. And I think I know you well enough to know that you can separate the two if it becomes necessary. I know that once, I think you're always gonna do the right thing. And I think even last year before last, your patriarch back there in the back was the Grand Marshal of our Christmas parade.
I had to ride in the police car though.
Well, I mean, I knew they were gonna get you sometime. But, I just want you to know that any decision, I feel confident in this council, any decision we make will be the best decision we can make for everybody concerned. And bottom line, hopefully it'll be, I think our utmost goal has to be what's best for the citizens of the town of Bowling Springs. And I think this board, we've always worked things out and been able to do that. I don't remember ever making a decision I thought was detrimental to the citizens of the town of Bowling Springs, and I think that will continue to be the case. But, we'll get through it. Fred, I thought you were reappointed to the planning board.
I thought so too.
I was in the,
It was in the consent agenda.
I said,
Hey, I'm with that boy now, let's talk about Fred. I forgot.
You want me to leave so you can all say no?
I want you to stay so we can all.
Okay.
So, Fred, I want to commend you for the job you do on our planning board.
we appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Keep your game. We do appreciate, and the planning board, we really appreciate, I think the planning board is one of the most important boards in the town. Maybe it's sometimes more important than this board, because y'all make the decisions, or y'all make the recommendations to us to make sure we follow the ordinances and things like that. So to you and all of the planning board, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Guess that's all we got. Anybody have anything to follow up? All right,
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn, second, all in favor? Aye.
Go Hurricanes.
Well, no, I didn't, the smile was there, and Tommy then said, Tommy was at the gate as well, and he said something, and then I said,
Maybe the.
oh yeah, it's fine.
It's simply,
And Tommy over here, I said, thank you for $5. No question. So she always,